She was quiet the whole time.
All right, we are live, everybody. We are back. It's been a long time. It's been about a year since Amy and Justin's been on our channel. Probably been about another 3 months since I've actually done a video. So hey, we're doing better. Um, but now we wanted to get back with Amy and Justin. They've got a lot of new information for us. A lot of stuff has changed, and a lot of good stuff is coming down the pipe. So we wanted to bring everybody out here. So welcome again, as always. Thank you, Amy and Justin, for being on the channel. We always love having you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to just go and kick off. So NinjaWitch has really blown up, really in the last year. It's got a lot bigger, and so everybody that's a fan of the channel pretty much knows you guys because we're all connected. I don't know where Haley's at. She said she was going to be here, so we should probably beat her and say, "Hey, get here."
Well, I heard she lost her sketchbook from Swornfest that had all the Hell Witch art in it, and she had sent it to an artist, and nobody can find it right now. So it was the one that Gomez did the cover. And
I know, I remember that.
Monty did one, and some others. So
yeah, Sora did one, and I think David Harrigan did one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do we know who said artist is so we can go beat up said artist?
No, she didn't post that.
I thought I heard it was Justin Hunt.
No. Don't say that. I did the first. So on that one, I will tell you this. She gave it to me, and I drew the first page, and then she took it over to Monty, and Monty said, "Oh shit, Justin set the bar," and he had to go and he drew more than he initially thought he was going to draw.
That's what happened with mine, right? So I had Ortiz, right? I had mailed my book to Ortiz a year early, right? Because I had heard he was coming to Swornfest. So I said, and getting stuff from down there takes a while from Uruguay or Brazil or anything because of the whole tariff thing. So I told him, I said, all right, want to do a commission, my first Ortiz commission. I said, let's do it. He started working on it. 6 months go by. I don't hear nothing. I poked my head. I said, hey, how's it going? He said, oh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. No problem. And then so we get to, 3 months to Swornfest. He shows me the rough sketch of it, and I about passed out just on the rough sketch, right? Because I was like, I'm like, okay, are you sure that's the right rate, right, for what you're doing? He said, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. So I get there. It's a full commission on a page. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. And so I take it to Sora. Sora's my next person, right? I said, Sora, I want to get one from you. She's like, yeah, that's going to be kind of hard to, really do, because between you and between, those guys are like, you set the bar really high to do that, right? So she does a full commission. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I had her do a remark for Tim on his poster from Sora.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And then I just took it around like I usually do, right? And now it's actually with Nai Rufino.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Because Don, Nai, JP, Roth was here last month for Cowtown. So first time I'd seen Nai in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I said, here's my book. Hey, have fun with it. And so she's having whatever she's going to do. And I said, take your time, whatever. And it's starting to do
creatives.
Hey, Haley's here. Okay, Haley. Yay, Haley made it. Hey, Winston. And hey, JP. So, all right, Haley, we were talking about you. So you got to tell us the scoop on, did you find your book or not?
So, Haley, I just told everybody how your book from Swornfest with your Hell Witch has gone missing, and you're trying to locate it. So, anyway, that's how it started. So,
okay, we're going to try something different this time. This is on the fly. All right, we're going to invite Haley, by the way. Let's see if she wants to come with us. All right. Because then it's always fun with more people.
Sure. Oh, man. No look on the book yet. That's bollocks, isn't it? She's gutted.
Gutted.
She's gutted.
Oh no.
Brits are saying.
Well,
Oh,
she's got
she's
the
Australian.
yeah, but they're descendants of criminals from England, so that's fine.
They did come from a penal colony, right? So people forget that, right?
Yeah. Which
I
is
can't say
different.
nothing.
This is different than a penile colony.
That's right. I hope they find your book, because I know that yours is like mine. It's one of those like I'm on my second book, by the way, on mine. So I filled my first one, so I'm on my second one now, and I would be gutted if one of them got lost, because of just all the work that you guys would put into doing it. All right, so let's talk some Ninja Witch. I did invite Haley, so she'll decide if she wants to. So let's talk about the next book. Let's actually go back to the last thing that you guys released, right? And that was the mega book, right? So everybody that got the mega book. So
was that last? Really?
Other than the comics
and the trade paperback,
Wow. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
that's our last release, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that way, and let's go over that, because I do have some new people that's not that's on the channel. So if you can kind of tell them about Ninja Witch, what it's about, and then kind of explain the mega book and the trade paperback to them.
So Ninja Witch is a, as it says, witch who was born in the 13th century and had incredible powers once her parents died and passed them on to her. And then she just basically has been learning from other witches throughout the centuries. And then, when did she hit Japan? I can't remember the exact year. Feudal Japan. She ends up there and trains a sect of shinobi warriors, ninja warriors. And that's where the ninja comes from. And she, what am I missing? You keep shaking your head.
I'm turning my head to listen.
Okay. And she, from there, she's like this high priestess with the like super powerful witch, but then she also has the ninja fighting and the calmness. That's what grounds her. That's how she doesn't overuse her powers, overdo things. So, she basically ends up helping and fighting for the witches and people who can't fight for themselves.
And who are her primary antagonists?
Well, we haven't even introduced the primary one. Oh, barely. Okay, well, so
she fights against the
Jaganati, who are out to get their pure evil. She's pure good. And eventually will come Spider Queen, who will be... What? Am I not supposed to be saying this? Oh. This is why you need to coach me. I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't give away the forum.
We talked about it.
Okay, hold on. That's like saying in episode 4, saying, "Hey, we're gonna tell everybody that Vader's Luke's dad later."
This is why I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying and what I'm not.
Okay, so anyway,
you're doing okay. Don't worry.
The Jaganati. The Jaganati is our version of the Illuminati, and they're ruled by the Shadows, who are 3 mysterious figures who are transcendental and larger than life, and they run the evil underground. So that's who she's powering and fighting against over the centuries. And as she does it, her battle takes place behind the scenes of normal everyday life. And our books are laced, and what the mega edition is our first 5 books, including the origin story and the first spinoff, which is Anastasia, compiled in one large volume and tome. Also has behind the scenes all of the original covers and maps and timelines and biographies of both the characters and the people who made the books.
It's got the initial drawings of her uniform and all the stuff that Justin had done to come up with. We had done. Justin drew, because I can't draw. Yeah. Although
if you get the only place you can see it is in the mega edition. Amy had drawn Ninja Witch's eyes and partial mask, and I had
Not
found
well.
it, I scanned it, and didn't tell her, and I published it. So
Nice.
the only drawing that Amy has ever done of Ninja Witch is in there. And for those who want to know, Ninja Witch was created by Amy, and Amy comes up with 80% of the story thought process and throws it out there, and then we together will throw some extra, mud on the wall and see what sticks. And then I do all the writing, and Amy will come in and give me some direction to it and addition of, can we do this? Can we do that?
Can you change the story and add this in? Yeah,
and I smile and don't worry the fact that I just wrote, a whole script and have to change it all. So Ninja Witch has grown beyond that. We have, multiple spinoffs. We have the Anastasia, which is a spinoff, which follows Anastasia Romanoff, and that's all we're going to tell you about that one. And then there is a spinoff, which is The Veil of Sleepy Hollow, which follows our version of Ichabod, who is a blend of James Bond and Harrison of Indiana Jones. Very debonair. He's out there. And it's a super cool story that ties into Van Tassels and the Headless Horseman and some other stuff. And Haley's sitting there. So hi, Haley. Welcome to the chat and the team.
Hi, Haley.
I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. Hi.
It's okay. For those who don't know, Ninja Witch super fan Haley Anderson is right there. She's also a very staunch supporter of my art. So and a good friend and family. She's become like a sister to us over time. So one thing, Nathan, that we do have is beyond that, and before we talk about book 6, is we do have Tucson Comic-Con coming up. And so I declare on this one, we are reintroducing book 1 with a new cover on it. Exclusive for Tucson Comic-Con, and there's only 35 of these, so it is the whole book reprinted. It's the second run, but it's only 35 of them with this cover. So the only way they're going to get this cover is attending there. And
Gimme,
right
now.
What we are doing also is we have mythoscomicsgroup.com, which is our new and improved website, and right now it has a lot of good information, including our film division, what we have coming up, including our new beer that we're launching. So it'll be our 3rd beer. But we will eventually, later this year, we will have an online store. And when we have this store, anything that doesn't sell as an exclusive at a show and whatnot, we will have on the webpage. And we will also take a page out of Mr. Polito's book, and we will have website only items that we won't have anywhere else. It'll only be on the website. So we'll have some limited exclusives, and we have a brand new challenge coin coming out. We're doing that down limited to, I think it's 25. 2 inches across, 3.5 millimeters. Hard enamel, metal steel, really, really slick. And that kind of catches up on part of the Ninja Witch, and then we can launch into book 6 if you have any questions, and we can tell you how it ties into the history of Ninja Witch.
Definitely, yeah.
I just want to keep rambling.
No, you are good. And the thing is right, like I said, a lot of my new people that's on the channel, right, that came back, they might not know, and so it's good to bring them up to speed. So yeah, let's go and kick off with 6, and let's go down the rabbit hole of 6.
Sure. Do you want to say anything about
I don't know. Am I going to mess something up?
I don't know.
I'm going to give spoilers. No, okay, no spoilers. Let's just say in book 6, we are going back to, we find out what happens after her parents die and after she gets all of these powers.
So in the origin story,
Yes.
we have her.
Book 1.
Yeah. So in book 1, in the origin story, we have she's going through the shinobi and the testing and the ceremony to become the high shinobi, which caveat is she does not do any of the training using magic. She has to go through the shinobi without using magic, so to make sure it's fair. So anyway, you got a message.
I'm just gonna leave this
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, in that we talk about flashbacks. So as they're doing Fire and Shadows, she's going back to when her parents died and were burned at the stake, and one had blue flames as they were being burned. Their blue magic was released, and the other one had red magic that was released, and it formed purple. And young Genevieve, who becomes the priestess Ninja Witch, embodies both of their magic at once. And we kind of end at that part where she then does this. She gets angry and brigands attack, and she blasts them out. And then there's a pentacle on the ground and some other stuff. And people see it as a, she's a.
Can I show? Can I show?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep. So that's in book 1. And then what we do is we have book 6 starts off in the battlefields of Europe. And Amy's shirt, really quick. This is something I drew. And here's how creatives work, right? We did this, and a lot of people liked it. And I did it, and then I used it as a beer label. And then we got so much feedback, and I did it as a skateboard and all. And I said, you know what? I like death, and we're going to put death into the book. So we actually took this and wrote this character into book 6, and it opens with death on the battlefields of Europe. And as people die, he's like 100 feet tall, and as people die, their souls get pulled into his cloak, and he absorbs them. And he starts interacting with Genevieve on a level that other people can't see. And we have a chase from the shadows, and it takes place over time. And then she has a little bit of a flashback to when her parents died, and it kind of overlays that. And she's with her aunt, Aunt Marguerite, who's the blonde that you see who steals her away from the farmhouse when her parents get captured in book 1. And Marguerite realizes certain things, and this lines up the next 4 books in the series where we are going to kind of shift from Genevieve a little bit, and we're going to follow Marguerite, and we're going to expand into the part of her other family member. Her aunt is a witch as well. We're going to see how powerful Marguerite is and how she interacts with different people throughout European history. As we've tied into all of our books, there's historical facts laced throughout the books. In a way that weaves it so it immerses our characters into a real tangible world that people can research. So if we mention a battle, or we mention the story of these dogs in the 1500s where we do in Sleepy Hollow, you can look it up and it's legit stuff. And in book 5, we have a whole spiel where they're talking about smallpox in Boston, and you can look that information up and see that it's legit. So anyway, Marguerite is on a whole different level of magic, and you'll feel a little bit more about her history and the history of Genevieve's family. And we have some severe spins coming up that are going to make people say, what the F? And it's really taking book 1, and what we did was book 1 started. We went through book 5, which looped back. The very last page on book 5 loops back to the beginning of page of book 1. And then we take the origin story and we're splitting this way. And then that will tie back as well. So we're building these layers, and think about it like you're in the middle of this field, and this story does a clover leaf and it comes back. Then you do another clover leaf and it comes back. And this does a clover leaf and come back. So we always have this one core element, and everything else is building on that. Instead of just going chronological, we're layering it, which really means that people, if you miss part of it, you're going to miss the whole why. So the new Kickstarter will launch. We will have that in there. We will also have the ability for people to get the book that Haley's holding, which is our trade paperback, as well as books 1 through 5. no variants on them.
And unfortunately, we are not doing any more mega editions.
Aw.
Our printer's not doing them anymore.
So whoever has those,
if you have them, you have them. That's it. There was 27 of them, I think, made total.
Yep,
So they're going to be super limited. And then we have a novelization of the books coming out. It's about 300 pages.
Books 1 through 5.
It's books 1 through 5, and then the origin story is a prologue. So it'll be a standard size novel. I actually have it on the screen. I was working on it earlier. It's going to go out to the printers this weekend. And the high gods be willing, we'll have it at Tucson Comic-Con to roll out. And if you're at Tucson Comic-Con, you don't have to wait for the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to get book 6 at Tucson Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's going to happen, Haley. He's going to set some aside for us too, like he usually does.
I hope so.
we always ask Justin to do that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Mr. Justin, do you have any OA available for the next upcoming book that you could give a little hint of?
What?
If he does, I've already claimed it, Haley.
I've already sold it.
Oh, you've already sold it?
Who'd
you sell it to?
Kevin Lyons has that OA.
This was it.
Yeah. I had the that one sold already. The other OA is all digital. It's but it's not mine. I hired an artist for it, but we were building I'm making a video for it that will launch as a precursor. There's some really cool scenes in there. And one of the coolest ones is there's a vision of death, and he's rolling across the battlefield, and these knights are all fighting and everything. And as the people are dying, their spirits are coming up, and he's massive, and he's just rolling over it. And at one point, he's having a full conversation with Genevieve, and she's like, "You see me?" And he's like, "I've seen you before." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, and she's like, "Are you coming for me?" And he basically says, at this point, you find out whether she's immortal or not. And there's a whole conversation. So, and then through these next couple books, you're also going to find little breadcrumbs of who her ancestors were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to sign off because I've got to go and do some stuff, but I am going to open the YouTube in my living room and still watch and listen while I do stuff.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good to see you all. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, and then, so book 6 is pretty immersive, Nate. It is the Witch of the Ashes, and it'll explain what that means in the book. And, but there's a 5-book series, and we really play into European folklore.
And I'm in it.
Oh, Amy's in book 6.
Okay.
My mom and I are both in it.
So she's actually featured in book 1. There's a cameo of her.
Very teeny tiny in there.
So I was at a Comic-Con, and this is how, I was at a Comic-Con years ago, and she showed up to surprise me, and she was dressed as a gypsy. So in book 1, there's a gypsy caravan, and Amy's in it. And then in book 6, that same gypsy caravan is revisited, and she's actually instrumental in part of it. And then I wrote a scene and put Amy's mom in the book. So interesting story. My stepson Gabe is in Anastasia, and he's part of NinjaWitch Kickstarter. And then in
Sleepy Hollow.
Well, I did a book for Corey Hardman years ago, and I drew my father-in-law on a Sister Mercy with his head on a spike. And Haley. And I put Haley's head on a spike also, so they were killed. But in Sleepy Hollow, my father-in-law is the town drunk. And
and statesman.
And he's a statesman. And when Brom Bones is a councilman. Yeah, and when Brom Bones is done with his story, everybody's just sitting there, and then my father-in-law like, to the harvest, and everybody starts drinking again. So we've actually featured a couple people. So Haley Anderson's actually been in a book. She was She was a
She was a
fiddle
musician.
player and on Ninja Witch's ship during Celebration. Tony Anderson has been in there, and Dave Viverito. We had a contest after book 2, and then they paid into it, and they were featured in book 3. And
as were our dogs.
Yep, our dogs were in there. And then they are part of the story now. They're part of canon. Will their characters be revisited? Maybe. Are they in the novel? Yes. So we like to put people that we know in there. And actually, one of the guys who works with us a lot for our booths and whatnot, his name is Kevin. In a Sleepy Hollow, I had him as one of the werewolves, and he gets killed. So,
okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So, a lot of times characters come in, and depending on who they are, I kill them. And if not, we use them for other stuff, and we find out later that Amy's mom is actually a witch also. So, which is, if you know her, it's no surprise. And I'm sure if she ever sees this, she'll just nod and say yes.
And Haley, I'd be right there with you. I don't do boats very well.
I love boats.
So anyway, so that's book 6. The novel is coming out as well. That way, if somebody says, I'm not into reading comics, and I'll say, are you into reading? Well, here's the novelization. And the novel is going to be a little different because it gives you a little bit more extra insight that you can't do in imagery. So a little thought process behind it. It's not quite Tolkien in the descriptions, but it's enough to get through.
See, and I like books as much as I do novelizations, right? So a good friend of mine, JP Roth, does the same thing, right? She writes books, Ancient Dreams and stuff, but they're also comics, right? And so, but you can't do everything, right? And especially when you're talking limitations, right, within the book, right? Like you can only put so much stuff in it because of cost.
Yep.
Novelization, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit at that point of writing.
Yeah.
Which has been really fun.
Yeah,
being able
and
to do this.
People don't realize, to your point, like when you do a comic book, you get every page, right, is $300 to $700 or more to produce. And you have to do them in multiples of 4. So if you write it and you get to it and you're like 28 pages, and like, oh, I can add 2 more. Nope, you have to add 4 more, right? Because of the way they print. So, and that's actually a whole animal in itself, is how to create a comic and how to break it down and figure that out and do the pacing and everything. But it's super fun. Amy's having fun with it. She's doing a lot of the proofing and editing and why is it like this and changing it. So, because at the end of the day, it's still,
I like what I like.
Well, for those who are new to this, if you ever look at it, it doesn't say Justin Hunt presents anything. It says Amy Hunt presents, because Amy Hunt is the one who didn't know the difference between Ninja Witch and Warrior Nun. But ladies and gentlemen, that's a whole different story. We'll talk about that.
Oh, that's a good one. I like Warrior Nun. That's my side.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I just, for the entire first season, I couldn't remember the name of the show.
She kept asking to watch Ninja Witch, and I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So she finally turns the TV on, and I was like, that's Warrior Nun. She goes, same thing. I was like, not E.
There's an N and a W.
And there's women with swords. I was like, no. So we revisited a couple days later, and then I brought out we have a 5x5 whiteboard about.
Yeah.
And then I started saying, give it to me. And we started writing, and I had this, and I said, what about this? And we started creating the universe, and we took it to another publisher, and the other publisher over-sexualized the character. We already ordered. Oh, we got you, Haley. And we own the IP, obviously, and under contract, and we took it back, and we've turned it into what it is.
And you guys have done amazing with it, because you're in it. People don't understand too, right? Like Mythos is not just Ninja Witch either. It's a huge dynamic IP now, right? Because you guys have grown a lot since it first started, right? And so, yes, Ninja Witch was the Kickstarter per se, right, to kick it off. But you guys have evolved a lot. You've grown a lot, right? Even with the films that's coming out now, right? So wanted to kind of segue to that side, right? Is disorganized, and so we have a film coming out, and we have a couple of
this is something cool. This is the first people to ever see this. We have the film coming out. We're going to premiere it, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, but we're going to premiere the film at Tucson Comic-Con, and the first 50 people to fill the auditorium to fill it get this envelope, and within this envelope, they're going to get
I want that.
It's a movie ticket, but this is a sticker. And what else do they get?
They get this print, which it's a hollow foil. I thought this was a hollow foil.
No, it's a metal.
Oh, the metal. Sorry, it's a metal.
But it's cardboard metal, so it has the metal sheen.
Yeah.
But they're numbered, and they're randomly numbered 1 to 60, but only 50 people are going to get them because the others are going to the archive. And then they're also going to get a disorganized keychain.
That is freaking awesome.
So the first 50 who come in to watch the film get to see that. And the film, so I'll explain how my mind works to a degree, and you'll understand why we got to where we are. As a creative, it doesn't shut off, and it annoys Amy sometimes.
Yeah.
So we went to Chronic Con back in October, and we will talk about the statue. Yes.
We'll talk about
her. Anyway, we were flying. We get to Chronic Con, and in the middle of the night, I had this dream, and I get a sheet of paper, and
that little notepad next to the bed, at a hotel.
Yeah.
And I scribe my dream onto it, and then I tell Amy, I said, "Look, here's my story." And she says, "How's that going to be in a comic?" And
I said, "That sounds like a terrible comic."
And I said, "You're right. It's not going to be a comic." She goes, "Well, what's it going to be?" I was like, "It's going to be a movie." And she's like,
and I go, "Of course, it's going to be a movie."
Right. So, anyway, we had. I love that genre. So we said, okay, what do we do? So did some research, and we reached out to a bunch of people, and we made MCG Films, which is the division of Mythos Comics Group, and that is the MCG Films logo right there. Stories forged to endure. So then we started working with live action, and SAG is just it's a pain. So what we did was, and we had some disconnects with I was going to direct it and produce it and write it. But the cinematographer wanted to do stuff their way, and we pulled back, and I said, no.
Creatives sometimes can tend to butt heads.
The creative control piece.
So I went a different route, and in my high school yearbook, everybody's like, I want to do a couple things. So I had 2 things I wanted to do. I wanted to be a paratrooper, and I want to own an animation studio. So here we are. For those who know, I was a paratrooper. So anyway, so I reached out to a bunch of people, and we found a guy, a studio here in Washington that does some limited animation. We had some interviews and briefs and stuff like that. And
Bye, Haley.
Bye, Haley. And so now we are at a point where it's being fully animated. It is a black and white psychological
thriller.
Yeah, it's a psychological horror film. There is no dialogue in it. Everything is based on the tone, lighting, mood, and pace, and some of the music. And without going into the details of what it is, it's a 15-minute film, but it is it follows a writer named Jerry Spalling, and it basically shows. Well, he finds something, and he finds that the price of success is going to cost more than he ever thought. And it takes you down a rabbit hole, and it's called Disorganized for a reason. There's a lot of illusion in it. There's a lot of things that have double entendres and means one thing and sees another, and it builds upon it. So from the opening credits all the way to the close, every nuance means something. The way he turns his coffee cup when he sets up for writing, the way he walks through his apartment, things in his apartment, everything is in there for a purpose. And it's one of those ones that the more people watch it, you watch it once, you're like, oh, that's good. You watch it the second time, like, oh shit, I see that. You watch it again, you're like, oh, I missed that. And so, but once you start putting all the pieces together, and I've even showed Amy some stuff, and I'm like, hey, check this out. What do you see? And then they're looking through it. I was like, what about this? And they're like, oh, I didn't see it. So it's kind of neat that is built on layers. It's heavily influenced from like The Lighthouse. It's heavily influenced from film noir. The Haunting. There's a direct link to The Haunting, the 1963 film. There's The Exorcist. Some of the feelings from it. So there's a lot of homage to horror people of the past, creatives. And there's a Hitchcockian reference that you won't know until the end. So
yeah, because when I first saw the image, right, for Disorganized, first thing I thought about was The Exorcist, right? And it's because that's an iconic image of looking at it, right, when they're looking through the window at Reagan, right? See, you knew that.
Yes.
I mean, I knew, and that's exactly what it is, right? But
that's awesome, because that's what I wanted it to feel like, and I was nervous about it. So the fact that you said it without being led to it, I'm super excited. That's why I did a little like
because of it. The difference, right, is that it's a mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mailbox mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mailboxes means in the old days, right? Those were letters and packages that were sent or received, right?
Yep.
So something's being sent or received. So we'll have to see what it's like.
Yeah, and it is the word disorganized. It means something as well.
Don't pull in Amy and give it all away.
I'm not, but what I'm saying is everything is with intent. To your point, the mailbox means something. The mailbox is actually a character, but it means something. And what it means,
what does it carry?
You'll understand it. There's some philosophy in it. I'm a big fan of Nietzsche and of Marx and Jung. So some of their beliefs are tied into this. And there is a certain Lovecraftian feel to parts of it. So
and that's what I love about Lovecraft, because I'm a huge Lovecraft guy, right? You know, if you remember in the 90s, there was a movie called The Necronomicon, right?
Yeah.
And it had Combs in it from Reanimator, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best stories ever done, right? Because they didn't change anything.
Right.
They kept it the same way as Lovecraft had written it. They just made it into a movie. People don't do that today, right? People want to put their own spin, their own change to it, and sometimes that does not work.
Yeah.
Right? And you were saying same way with trying to produce this, right? Trying to change it to suit their needs isn't what you envisioned as the creator, right? And then that would actually change the story. And it would be different than what you actually wanted to portray to everybody. Yeah,
and then this one's very unique for a couple of reasons. One is when you remove dialogue from a film, now you have to rely on the acting of it. And even though it's an animated character, that character still has to act, right? So like last night I spent time with the animation team, and we just went over 50 seconds of film, but it took an hour and a half to go over 50 seconds of film, right? And it was the nuances of, all right, you have his chin move here. I need you to go back, and I need you to only change his chin from this angle to this angle, not this angle. And here's why. And then I'm in the office. I'm like, he's got to do this. And his hand has to twist like this way. And I want the camera here. So and because it's animation, you see it one way, and then you basically you direct, right? And then you're taking notes and you redo the animation to a degree.
But what's really nice too is you and the animator get along really well, and he takes direction really well. So there's no headbutting right now. It's really been pleasant.
Yeah, and to your point, when it's important because I have a vision and I have the pace and I have the emotions. And if we change any of that, now sometimes we change it and we're like, oh, well, let's add this or let's whatever, or let's take this
It
away
makes
because
it better, right?
right, it doesn't mean it. But we don't want to do something just to do something, right? And the other part is when you watch a lot of movies, some of the biggest movies and if you ever watch The Others, right, or The Sixth Sense, or some of these other ones, you as you watch it, you follow it, and you're like, oh, that makes sense, and then you're like, right, but then you watch some of these other ones, and you're like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and then you're not paying attention to the film. But if you over explain stuff, the audience, you're basically telling the audience you're too dumb to figure it out.
And they turn it off.
So you have to find that middle ground where you're saying, I'm going to give you breadcrumbs, but I'm not going to tell you which breadcrumbs to look at and how they tie together. Like, that's up to you to figure out and piece it together. And then when you're done, what we hope is that you watch it and you're like, hey, Amy, did you see such and such? And then she's like, no, what are you talking about? You're like, it's right there. Go to, mark 5-6 seconds into it. And then somebody else is like, no, man, you got to look at, this scene. And you're like, wait, oh shit, if you put two of them together, you get this whole nother thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is with intent. The motion's with intent. The colors are with intent. The design's intent. We use lighting as a character, as a drive. We use emotion. And again, there's no dialogue. He sighs twice. That's it. Everything else is, you can hear leaves. You can hear part of a record player. You can hear certain things. But other than that, it's it. And then it lets you just get into the psyche of the character a little bit more. So super excited. Premieres in Tucson Comic-Con on September 6th. I'll be there to sit. We have a 1 hour block, so we'll do the first, hey, welcome to it. We'll show the film, and then I'll do like a 20-30 minute Q&A if somebody has questions. We'll show it at Grit City Comic-Con up in Tacoma, Washington in November. And it's going to be going out. We have 17 film festivals it's going out to. And then we're going to look at some other ways for people to see it. But there's some information on our webpage that you've been putting the link up to. And then once we have the trailer will be on our Facebook page, the Mythos Instagram, and on the website. And that should be done 27th or 28th of this month. We'll have the trailer out.
Let me know, and I'll share it out for everybody.
Yeah, it's a 15-second trailer. We're not going to do the trailer where it gives away the whole movie. We're going to do the trailer. Yeah. Yeah, and then we also intentionally, it's not shown chronologically. The trailer's not.
Good.
So,
because I think that's one thing I hate about movies today, right? Is in the trailer, if you watch the was not the teaser trailer, but the full trailer,
yeah,
you've lost everything. You lost the reason to go to the theater at that point because you already know. It doesn't matter if it's out of order or not. You've already seen the big scenes from the movie.
Yeah. We just want to. The way I described it to the team was, we're sitting on the banks and we're going to launch our lure out, and it's going to be just enough that the audience is the fish, and we just want them to go for a bite and be enticed by it, and then we're going to rip it away from them. They're going to have to go see it. Yeah.
So that's how it should be. Every movie. And I will say that's kind of like just watched Evil Dead right?
The new one.
Yeah, and it was the same way. The trailer was nothing about the movie.
Good.
Right? Like, it showed a piece of it, but you don't know where a part of it was. Yeah. Right?
That's
like,
on my watch list.
Yeah, you got to go watch it. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, so I had to go see it.
That's on my watch list. And then we also have, for those who've been paying attention, the next movie.
Nice.
That's called The Hollow. And it's It focuses on MMIWP, which is missing and murdered Indigenous women and people. It basically follows a young girl from a tribe who goes missing. Her best friend's mom is a tribal police officer who has to go and run the investigation, but her hands are tied by the bureaucracy and the red tape of tribal can do this, county can do this, city can do this, state, and then federal. And then you have the Bureau of Indian Investigations, or all different locations, and they don't all work together. So as they're all bullshitting around with each other, time's ticking and this girl's missing. And it basically, what we really try to do is we show the emotion of not just the girl, right? We don't really get into you don't actually see her get kidnapped because that takes away from it. We play into this is what happens to the community. This is what happens to the mom. This is what happens to the friends, when they can't do anything. What's the emotions that go with that? If your kid, all of a sudden, you got kids, Nate, if all of a sudden somebody came home and you can't find your daughter and you're running around looking for her and nobody knows, right? What can you do? You can only do so much, right? But you still have to go around and live your life for your other kids. And then, you know what I'm saying? So, and the community can only do so much. And so we really tie into that. And then there's a little twist where we introduce a friend of one of the tribal chief. We introduce some other characters into it, and smartly I copyrighted it, so I don't mind talking a little bit about it. But we introduce some characters who basically say, you have to follow the law, I don't have to follow the law. And we go from there, and it is a psychological, emotional thriller.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's a very, this is something that the indigenous people, and nothing happens, nothing comes of it. They're lucky.
At a high rate. And it's
they're lucky if they can find their missing people.
One of the co-producers, he's Native American from here in the PNW, and he read it. And he said at one point he was crying. I wrote a scene. He said this scene was so powerful, he was crying and had to set the book down and come back to read it. And then he read the script the second time. And I have a meeting next week with some other people of the MMIW community and funding. And we have an indigenous consultant. I won't say his name. We're under contract, but he's a very well-known indigenous actor in Hollywood, who is making sure that we have authenticity in it. And similar to how Disorganized is an emotional, where we rely on the story to tell it, this one has just enough action to keep it going, but the pace and the understanding where each character stays to character throughout, and then each character has a defined line within their own silo within the story. When it's done, it's an emotional one. And the very end of it, if anybody's a veteran of the Army specifically, of any branch, you'll understand certain parts of it. But if you're a member of the Army, particularly Rangers or others, there's some verbiage in there that if you're a vet, you're like, that dude is a freaking vet. That guy's an Army vet. I know, I can tell. And it's pretty cool the way the story's written. So super proud about it. That one we're in pre-production simultaneously with Disorganized. So we're doing this intentfully. Disorganized is our first one. Then we'll go to the live action. And then after that, our plan is, if anybody's read our Miracle at Ravensburg story, that is our third film.
Nice.
We're going to get into some Krampus.
So, I love it.
We already have a fourth one too has been in the works for a few years now.
Yep, we have a fourth one. And then for those who are NinjaWitch fans, we will also be working on an animated NinjaWitch pilot. So
I will love it. Animation works great for that perspective, right? Because if you think about NinjaWitch, right? You're talking magic, you're talking about things like that. That's a lot of money in practical effects, right? And even in CGI world, still is a lot of money. Yeah. But you don't have the flexibility as you did in animation, right? Yep. So animation, you can really.
The other part that goes with that too is the age Go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna say that.
So
But you keep talking.
Well, anyway, go ahead.
No, you got it. You
She
was gonna
owns
say-
the book. Let her talk.
No, she cashes the checks. So if you look at the character, right, she's throughout the centuries. So if you were to hire an actress to play that character, right, then you have to do special effects and you have to do makeup
Correct.
and you have to change this and you have to do that. But also, like with any show, like Stranger Things, right, it can only take place over a certain time period because then everybody ages,
It's older. Yeah.
right?
Spider-Man. You have to keep changing Spider-Man because they outgrow the character. And
Right. But if it's animated, you just have to have somebody be able to do the voice.
Correct.
Right. And then you can do it. So, and then making it like that, you can make it episodic, and because we own the IP and then we're going to produce it ourselves, we're not handcuffed to like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do it. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Correct.
Right.
Because there's some of the issues, right? Like even like 2 and 3, right? That could be a couple of episodes,
Yeah.
right? Like because some of them could be one, but there's multiples of that book that could be 2 to 3 episodes. So you could be talking 10 to 12 episodes just in 5 or 6 books, depending on how you set it up.
Yeah, and some of them are really like, imagine the reveals on some of that, like in book 5, talking about Lovecraft, right? The book 5 on Tortuga, where Anne goes off on her own. If anybody read The Call of Cthulhu and then you read that, you're like, oh, Justin's pretty Miskatonic when it comes to this stuff.
Oh yes.
But it just some of the visuals of it, and to your point, book 2, the battle on the seas, the intricacy with the characters and stuff. But we want to control it. We want to do it the way we want to see it. And eventually we wanted to try to convert everything into a manga and have the same stories, but written right to left in manga, black and white, and then try to get into the manga bookshelves.
That would sell in a heartbeat. We both know that in Japan and in Korea and those places, it would sell.
Yeah.
People love magic stories.
It, right?
that was you.
Manga?
I don't know manga.
I thought you said Japanese animation would work.
You did.
Japanese animation will definitely work for that.
I guess I said it. I thought she said it. So I don't know.
I don't even know manga.
See, and living in Japan when I was a kid, I grew up with it. So reading manga, watching Gundam, Macross, those things, right? And all that kind of magical stuff, Ultraman, stuff like that, it'll sell. I guarantee it.
I'm a Battle of the Planets and then Vampire Hunter D.
Yep.
That kind of thought process. We've got so much stuff going on with MCG and both the comics division and the film division.
And
I want to see that statue. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bring it here. Haley's right. We need to talk about that because the last time we talked about this was last year, right? And
if we had it, you probably only saw the before it was
resin.
colored.
Yeah. So when do we get to buy it?
Oh, that's a whole different animal. So we sent it off to the company that we're working with for distribution, and they liked it so much they said they want to do it as a trio. So in order to do it, I have to have the other 2 statues designed, in amongst everything else we're doing. So do you want to introduce everybody to this character?
So this is Snow White, another version of Snow White. She's a goth Snow White. Can I tell the story? No. What?
No,
okay.
You just want to.
So basically, we're
tell the cursory and tell her name.
We are reintroducing Snow White to modern times. It's a modern Snow White story, and she's older. She's not dressed like this as a 14-year-old, so she is in her 20s. But her name is, oh gosh, what is her name?
Frances Everfrost, and she goes by Frankie.
Everfrost.
I got to design this. This is so cool, and it's actually
the mirror.
We came up with the names and everything before we got our dog Frankie, so she's not named after our dog. But it is a Snow White story, and then the other modern day Snow White story, the other statues that we're going to be, we're having an actual comic come out with them as well. with each of the statues. They're going to have their own comic. But the other statues, one's going to be Red Riding Hood. And then we did Gretel, right?
The hunter.
The hunter, good.
The huntsman.
Huntsman.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
want Gretel. I thought that was weird.
without going into details, all we can say is she's collegiate, and she has friends who are from other fairy tales. So Greta Grimm, Little Red, those are her two best friends, and they go on this kind of discovery kind of thing where the evil witch queen is trying to take over the realm and take the fortune from her and her ailing father, and then she.
Okay, that's more than I thought.
No, but that's Snow White, right? I mean, you can't.
Well, that's why I said
right.
you just do it, modernize it.
But what's cool is this statue it's a septagon on the bottom, so it's 7-sided, and each corner is a different dwarf's head. And then from the book, obviously, I don't know if people know, but she had a corset in the book, and then she tried to die from it. We don't have a comb on here. And then we have, instead of the mirror on the wall, we have her holding the mirror, and it's got a rose on it, red rose. So, and then like the corset has integrated skulls on it and whatnot. And then the only other thing is we're going to do on this shoulder, we're going to do a tattoo. Do you want to tell them what the tattoo is? Do you remember?
I didn't know we were doing a tattoo.
So she has a tattoo that goes on there. It's a heart with a ribbon that says fairest.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize.
Fairest of them all.
Yeah, but she's got a cool sleeves and mini skirt, and I mean the fishnet is actually carved. That's 3D fishnet. So it's super slick. And then her hair, I don't know if you can, what is it called when it changes color like that?
Ombre.
An ombre. It's purple and blue up into black. And then her face, she's goth look and piercings, and then her gem as her stuff. So, and then I designed the boots and the whole outfit. And it started with just a drawing and turned into a statue. And then from the statue, we're just going to do the statue, and then now we have to do a comic to support the statue, to draw the other two statues to have all three of them.
And then after you do 3.
That statue means nothing really without a story behind it.
Well, and the good thing about the 3 is, right, that's 3 of the princesses, right? There's a lot more in the Grimoire.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can always expand later.
Right. And I think that's the ultimate goal, is to expand and do more of the Grimm stories as part of the Mythos family.
Yeah, because NinjaWitch will say the flagship, but like Miracle at Ravensburg is a spinoff. Hammer of the Gods is a spinoff, or not spinoff, excuse me, independent storylines. Then we have some spinoffs. And we have another spinoff we have planned as well. But having this whole storyline, which is something that Amy absolutely loves, like the TV show.
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time.
The ABC show.
Yeah. So Amy loved that and some other stuff. And, Amy really, what we hate is where somebody takes the same story and it's just regurgitated over and over and over again. So how do we change it? How do we make it unique? We try to do that with our stories. We try to introduce stuff that's not the same over and over and over again. But
like with Sleepy Hollow, making Ichabod Crane a badass as opposed to a little wiener.
Exactly. I mean, there's little things like that. Like, for example, like, did you watch Dexter? New Sin? Right?
No, not the new one.
So that one is where he ran off, right? And he's in this middle of nowhere. He has an Indian girlfriend, right? She's on they're part of the reservation, right? She's kind of similar to your story where she's stuck in the middle, right? And then they had girls that were missing, but they're dead, right? They were all killed off by somebody that was in power in the city itself.
Oh,
right. So it was a very interesting thing. So when you were talking about your story, it was
Dexter flipped to become the detective.
Huh?
So Dexter
No,
becomes
so
no.
Dexter is just hiding out, right? He's
Oh,
just
okay.
trying to hide from everybody, but his son comes and finds him there.
Oh, okay.
So it becomes a like who did what, whatnot, and then Dexter's trying not to kill people, which doesn't turn out well, right?
I was gonna say that's not Dexter's
Yeah,
MO.
no, and so that's why it was called like Original Sin or New Sin or something like that. It's the second series before Dexter Resurrection, where he's back doing normal stuff again.
Gotcha.
But it was a similar story where, right, they're all trying to find the missing girls, right? Because this is not like me being part Cherokee. This hits home for me, right? Because of that. So for this one to find these people and try to get them home, that's very hard, and it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Amy's part Creek, so it's the same thing. And we went to a powwow a couple weeks ago, and just watching the regalia and the culture of it and stuff like that.
Got to talk to a lot of them, and
So, and we had fry bread. I had fry bread for the first time.
Oh my God! How did you like it?
I thought it was fantastic.
Did you bring like 30 home with you?
No. I got a fry bread taco. But fry bread's pretty interesting because you have to bake fry bread, and baking is pretty interesting too, isn't it, Amy? This would be a really cool part to talk about. This is the surprise for everybody who's watching. This is Nate. You're getting first dibs and first knowledge of this. Why don't you tell everybody what baking has to do with this conversation?
Well, I started baking my own bread, our own bread. We got tired of all of the preservatives and everything that is in our foods, especially breads. So it took a while. There was a lot of Gabe and Justin ate a lot of yucky breads, but I seem to have found my sweet spot and everything. And now I have I am coming out with a cookbook, a bread book. A bread book. It will have its own Kickstarter in October because there is a witchy theme to it. So yeah.
And it's based on a Hearth Witch, right?
Hearth Witch. It's a Hearth Witch book. Yeah. And so there's little spells, little blessings along the way, and stories behind every single bread that I have made, because there's a lot of the recipes that I have come from family members previously. Like I have a couple thrown in there from my great grandmother, and then I think put Irish soda bread in there, which came from my great grandmother. So they brought that over to us from Ireland.
And then you have, like, if I wanted to mix it, have a drink with it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I did that. I have made drink pairings and food pairings actually for all of the breads. So how to eat them. If it could be a sandwich bread or alongside a cozy bowl of soup, or and then there's also, with every mixed alcoholic drink there's also a mocktail or a non-alcoholic drink.
And that could even be Coca-Cola or something.
It's even as simple as a soda or tea or coffee. Or
what about toppings for the breads? Was there anything in there that tells you, like, hey, this, you can put a jam on it or jelly?
Oh,
didn't you have something in there?
Oh yeah, at the end I just if you want. I put a whole butter section on homemade butter. I started making homemade butter as well. I'm a regular Pioneer woman now.
And then you have a whole lexicon within it that talks about the different tools of the trade and why you would use this one versus this one. And, and it talks about the encouraging part of what I liked about it was, when I was proofing it, is it talks about don't be afraid if you make a mistake, right? It might be 3 or 4 batches and then all of a sudden you get it, right? But that's the magic of it.
I put a lot of personal stuff in there, and I did mention a lot about how many awful loaves and awful sandwiches that he and my son got. but they love my bread now. But yeah, it's got at the very beginning, it's got a list of all of the kitchen tools that you might need. But I think that there's really only one type of bread in there that requires an actual stand mixer, just because it's such a lengthy kneading process and mixing process that it's really the only one. Other than that, I say, back in the day, my great grandparents didn't have stand mixers. They did everything by hand, so it's not impossible.
And it's everything from dinner rolls to
sandwich
bagels
bread
to what's the surprising pastry or baking item that's in there?
Surprising one?
Yeah,
Is there a surprising one?
Oh, I'm just asking you. Like, you have, what about breakfast stuff?
There's breakfast, English muffins, cinnamon rolls,
pancakes,
scones, pancakes, waffles. I have put almost any bread you can imagine. I actually have a section in there where I acknowledge that it is missing sourdough. I don't have sourdough recipe.
Oh my God.
I haven't even started my sourdough journey just yet, because it's so intimidating to me, and it's such a high maintenance bread that I have not felt comfortable enough starting it. And we have a couple trips coming up. Obviously we are going to Tucson, and we've got like a family vacation and everything. So now's not the time for me to start a starter. So it is so high maintenance.
Ooh, that means when we're done with the family vacation in Tucson, you can do it.
I'm starting a starter, yes. But I did.
It's always easier getting somebody else's starter to start with. You know that, right?
Right. And the only other person I know would be, I think my sister-in-law has a starter, but
there's one in Salem.
I'm just going to do my own starter. I'm going to do it from scratch. So I am going to eventually have, once this one is done, I'm going to start on all desserts, all sorts of different types of baked desserts. And then I will eventually, once I perfect my sourdough, I'm going to have an entire book dedicated just to sourdough.
So it's a huge process for that. I mean, I've tried several times and I can't make it.
Oh, it's so intimidating. Yeah. Well, and then we found out that it's such a high maintenance thing that people in Sweden, like Sweden has sourdough hotels, and these people go on vacation, take their sourdough to this hotel, and they feed it and
nurture it. And
so I'm like, okay, it's very intimidating to me.
But she wrote a book on her own, right? So when you think about MCG, right, now we have the comics, we have the novel, and now Amy has
movies.
Well, yeah, MCG, right? But I'm saying, as far as print, Amy's got a cookbook coming out. So, and it's got photos in it. It's a hardcover. It's like 150 pages. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful book.
If you like carbohydrates and a little bit of witchcraft, this is the book for you. Yep.
I'll definitely buy it. You know me. I like to eat.
So, but it's fun. We're on a really good journey right now, Nate, and it's almost to the point where we look at it and we say we need to have 4 different artists working on multiple things at the same time.
It's getting to be a lot. So we've got a lot of different things going on.
So that takes finances, right? And we have funded 96% of everything so far out of pocket. And even when you do a Kickstarter, for those who are new, the Kickstarter doesn't fund your whole project. For some, now there are certain people, Mr. Polito and others, who you raise $300,000, you're going to cover. But for us, it costs anywhere from $6,000 to $18,000 to do a volume, to do a book, and depending on how many, we did Simon Bisley on 2 covers. I guarantee we did not make money on Kickstarter. But when you look at it, we don't do it because of that. We do it because we love to create.
And we can do it together.
We can do it together. We get to. I always have to wear long sleeve shirts, guys, because I have welts from the whippings.
Let's do what I say right the first time.
But we love meeting
Well, we all
people
listen.
at shows. Yeah, and then for those who are going to be at Tucson, Amy's going to be dressed as Ninja Witch. You guys get to meet the Ninja Witch. She'll be out walking around and stuff like that. But it's fun. Amy's been introduced to this world 6.5 years ago, 7 years ago, and she's embraces it to a degree. She's still trying to figure half of it out.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
But Tucson Comic-Con, I mean, we're guests of Tucson Comic-Con. So
and this is our first one outside of the PNW. So we're really excited.
So I'm excited. I get to hang out with Will Shatner, right? Lou Ferrigno, Roy Deep, and then God, there's this a plethora of Mark Sakara and a bunch of other artists who are there.
Starling's going to be there too, and Sylvester.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jim Starlin. When you look at it, you just like, okay, great, and now we're guests. You're like, okay, again, this is back to me on the stage with Todd McFarlane and saying why, but
you earned it.
Yeah,
it's weird.
We worked pretty hard for it. There's more information coming for Tucson, so stay tuned. We can't tell everything right now. But we're really looking forward to Tucson. We're looking forward to Grit City. We're looking forward to the website being updated, and we're looking forward to continuing conversations with you, Nate, and others.
And Amy getting better at these interviews.
And and then
fine, don't worry.
I think so. Maybe 2027, we pack up a couple suitcases and we come down to Cowtown and see some people down there.
Well, you come down here, you know where you can stay. You don't have to worry about a hotel. I've got free rooms here.
Yeah, well, we can stay right there in the comic room. Just absorb all the energy.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You're only seeing a piece of it. There's a whole wall over there that's all just covers.
Oh wow. So this is the art studio. For those who don't know, I can't show it all, but I have nothing but I have OA everywhere on this wall from famous. Oh, to me, they're really important artists. I got Mark Mignola, Alex Ross, Randy Emberlin, Dave Williams, Ramita, Mike Crome, Joseph Rubenstein, Kevin Eastman. The list goes on. Gary Martin,
Justin Hunt,
Jamie Tyndall, Ben Dunn. I have over here, we got Todd McFarlane, Liefeld, Stan Lee. Yeah. There's that, and then over here it's the
Legos.
My Batman Lego. It's my thing. So but this is where we do all my creative stuff. So
and I'll tell you, we just did Cowtown this year, right? Dawn, me, and JP and Nei, right? And we had a blast. I mean, it was a huge success for Waxahachie versus Fort Worth because there's just too much going on in Fort Worth at the same time.
Yep.
Right. But I will say it's a comic convention. It's not a celebrity convention.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. There'll be some celebrities there, but they limited it, right? And that's why Chris and them do that. I've ran it for almost 3 years straight, 4 years straight, right? Helping out. And I have a blast every time. So I helped out with Ethereal, helped out with JP and Don and them. When you guys come down here, I'll help you guys out. We'll just hang out. It's just fun to hang out because it's just to meet other people there, and you'll find old people there that you're like, we had Hermerto Ramos one year, right? Oh, wow. And I haven't seen him in decades. Yeah. Right. And we had Michael Golden, right? And those kind of guys.
I know that name.
Who is he?
He's the one who did Rogue.
Yeah. We had a booth right next to him, and she's a huge Rogue fan. I was like, do you know who that is? And she's like, no. So I described it, and she's like, wait, what? And then I went over, I was like, hey, my wife's a huge fan. I'd love to get a commission. I don't care what it costs. He's like, oh, I'm not doing commissions. I'm like, you don't understand. She's a huge Rogue fan. I don't care what it costs. So she walks off to go to the restroom, and he comes over, and he's a gentle guy, and he walks over, and he's like, so she's a fan. I'm only going to do it if I can do Rogue in the original cloak. I was like, sold. He's like, open your wallet. I was like, here's what I got. He goes, that'll work.
He's a trip.
Yeah, he's super nice. And then Rick Hoberg, I have a piece from Rick. We were at a show up here, and
it was embarrassing.
He was across, and I'm like, oh, it's Rick Hoberg. It's Rick Hoberg.
He was embarrassing. The fangirl, the amount of fangirl.
But here's the cool part. He came over and he's looking at my art and he's like, this is really good.
Yeah.
This is really good. This is really good. And then he did a sketch in a Star Wars book for me for free.
Oh my God.
And then and I didn't know he was going to be there. So I got this huge Rick Hoberg poster up here, the original Star Wars one. So he was at a convention that we were at in October of last year, and I brought the poster and I was like, hey, and he's like, I haven't seen this in 42 years. I was like, can you find it? So he's like, yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I love being around other creatives. And I think the more Amy gets involved with this, she gets to see it too. And it's kind of cool. She tells you she's shy, and she is to a degree when she's at a booth. But once the mask goes on and the hood comes up and the gauntlets are on, she's out there kicking ass and walking around, and she's in her own element. And what was so cool, she came back, and one of them, somebody had walked up and they're like, oh my God, you're the Ninja Witch. And she's like, they recognize me.
They know who you are.
Yeah.
You got these little kids who are like 4 years old coming up and like, can I have a picture with you? Right? At the shows.
Yeah.
So, and nobody wants my picture. I'm just like, yeah, I'll sign stuff. And Amy signs stuff. People get in line just to have her sign stuff, which is cool too.
And we do free signatures, free autographs.
Always.
We don't charge for autographs.
Never will.
I mean, I understand when people bring like 80 things, right, for one person to sign. I can understand charging at that point.
Sure.
But if it's like 3 to 4 or 5 things, most of our guys don't do that, right?
Or one. They're like, hey, I bought your book. Can you sign it? Sure.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Some don't even like to ask though because they're afraid we charge. And I was like, do you want us to sign it? And they're like, how much? Nothing.
And then they're shocked because we're so used to that now.
Yeah.
And if they're younger kids, sometimes I'll just, they'll be there and I'll have like a sticker and I hand the kid a sticker. Or if they have something else, I'm like, what's your favorite character? And like Spider-Man. I was like, you want me to draw you a Spider-Man? And I just pull a piece of paper and I Sharpie it really quick and hand it to him. And the kid is, 5 years old and he's got this Spider-Man. I actually did a picture for a kid when he was 5 or 6 of Spawn. And then like 3 years later, this taller kid shows up in a homemade Spawn costume. And he goes, you don't remember me, but, and he pulls it out of his little document. He goes, you drew this for me when I was 5 or 6. I can't remember. And he goes, ever since then, I wanted to be Spawn, and here I am. And he wanted to come at me. So I got a picture taken with him and everything. And it was just like, that was so cool.
I mean, that's a surreal moment. At that point, I mean, no matter like how successful with books and stuff you are, when you have that same kid come back to you, that's everything. I mean, that means you made a convert is what you made. And you made a new generation that's going to take over after we're done.
Yeah. Well, when we went to Bellingham a couple of years ago, there were some people who came around and these girls had come to the booth and they didn't have a lot of money. And then we were at Emerald City. They came to find her to get her to sign a book and buy more books. So it's like, they were like, we were looking for you, and where's Amy? We want her to sign this. And
I'm really hit or miss because I do still have a son that while he drives, there are certain times where he can't drive somewhere because it's like too long of a distance or whatever. Or he's got a game that I have to go to. So there are a lot of times where I don't get to go to a show with him or a booth or whatever, and then
we're signing.
I feel bad. But then they find me.
Yeah, and then there's one couple.
One family. There's
this one family. They're always buying stuff because I love that a lady created a character, right? And then and NinjaWitch is not sexualized, right? It's not right. It's very dynamic, and she does stuff with a purpose.
No nip slips with our
character. So she so anyway, this family loves it, and they go out of their way, and actually for birthday presents they'll buy like extra books and stuff like that. And the husband bought the mega edition for his wife for her birthday, and then for like 3 signings, Amy was always gone. And when they finally met her, she's like, "If you leave right now, I'm gonna."
They're constantly searching for me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got a lot going on.
Well, and you guys have fans that support you, right? And
Yeah,
a
we
lot of us have
appreciate
been,
Yeah.
yeah, and we're going to, because you've been great friends with us for forever, right? So we're always going to be that way. But the main thing is that it's a story that people want to read.
Yeah.
Right. And they come back to it. And when you come back and you want to get more and more out of it, now you've got a fan base. And that fan base is going to be loyal.
Well, we like the story. We hope that people like the story.
We hope that they do, because we enjoy all parts of it. All parts. The fiction part, the historical part.
That is a pain in the ass. Let me tell you.
I don't think it's a pain in the ass at all. I enjoy it.
Because you walk in and be like, this needs to tie into it. And I'm like, all right, let me figure this out. You know? Or she's like, we need something to ground it. Find something that happened around here.
No. I do the finding.
Some.
I found the battle at the beginning.
You did?
I did.
And you found the other one in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
And then also, like, if I write anything about how they use a crystal, this one is like,
I said you do it wrong. That's not how it's done.
Yeah, so I have to make sure the crystals are used because they all have different meanings and stuff. But we, as a creative, you create something in your mind. It means something. It has some feeling, and getting feedback is super important. And when I did the first book, one of the feedbacks I got, which was super brutally honest, was I didn't explain enough. So as my writing progressed, and if you read book 1 through book 5, my writing has come along in a different format. To a point where when you read it now, there's some monologues in there, but they have to be in there, you know? And I honestly, like the book 5, I had to trim like 14 pages because the final battle was like twice as long as it was. And that's a pretty big book. That's mid 30 pages and, $500 a page. I had to pull back. So, but
were the other pages done, like already drawn?
No, so part of the script, some of them was introducing different elements. Mm-hmm. And so some of those elements, the way they were written, are going to appear in these next couple books.
Gotcha.
So we're not going to, so they weren't dynamic enough to that part of the story right then and there, but they are integral to the whole story. So they'll lace themselves back into it.
Because that was the one thing I loved about 1 through 5, right? Was you started in 1 in the beginning, right, with NinjaWitch, but then you're going through this journey, right, through the books, and then you get back to it in book 5. You come back to the present, right?
Yep.
Is the next volume per se going to be like that?
So the next volume starts in Europe. So in the origin story, you see her at the caravan and she blasts, right? It starts about 15 years after that.
Okay.
And then it runs from there and it trips a couple centuries.
Gotcha.
But when you read it and we introduce some of the stuff that's coming down, you'll be like, oh, now I understand why this character in book 3 and book 4 and book 5 was able to talk to her like this. Or now I understand why this person has this much authority, why this person did this. So,
it's tying back together.
Yeah, it's 100%. And because if you watch a lot of movies or a lot of television shows, right, they're all chronological. And then by the time you get to season 3 or 4, you're jumping the shark and all of a sudden you're like, this is shit. But if you keep them interesting, my theory and Amy's theory is if we keep them interesting, we introduce and we bring you back, and we introduce and you bring you back, you have to have that core understanding and then asking questions, right? Now, since Amy talked about the Spider Queen, go back and read books 1 through 5 and see if there's any hints about the damn Spider Queen. We'll just leave it at that. Anywho.
Yeah, it's a good thing not too many people watch my channel. Or you know that, right?
Yeah, but you heard it here first, folks, right? This is
exactly.
So you get to learn about the ultimate arch nemesis, but anyway, yeah, it's we're having a lot of fun with it. So, you know, if anybody who's watching this ends up at Tucson Comic-Con, the code, if you walk up and say Spider Queen, I'll give you something for free. So if you just walk up and be like, is this Mythos Comics Group? Code word Spider Queen, I'll give you something. How's that?
I'm going to tell everybody that now.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Keep them guessing. So, but now you're going to go back and you're going to read those, Nate, and just see what you can put together. Shoot us a message offline and see what you can come up with. But it's all right. We're having fun with it.
I got really excited.
But there is a reason why we went 1 through 5, and the end of 5 brings you back to the chase from 1. Mm-hmm. Because in book 1, they asked a very important question, right? Was how do they know we're here? Exactly. So everything's leading up to that. And then this series that we're doing now will also tie into that. And the end of this 5-book arc will be back in Tunisia at the end of it.
Gotcha.
So the main storyline is the Tunisia storyline, and all of these are going to support that storyline.
Nice. Now, I got to ask the question, are we going to get another Krampus story?
Are we going to get another Krampus story? Yeah.
Because you left it open-ended. I read that as soon as I did at the end. It's open-ended.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. We'll just say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not going to be what you think it is, Nathan. So how's that?
Good. I like that.
But yeah, so did you like that story?
Dude, I love that story. I'm a huge Krampus fan.
Yeah.
Being part Irish, we know all about that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a Scottish-Irish thing. So it's like, okay, yeah, you do what you're supposed to do. Here he comes, kills you at the middle of Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this one he's called on, right? So
exactly. I mean, but it was funny because you made him a good guy, where he's notoriously a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he was used for good to serve that purpose.
He still took care of the bad kids, though.
He did. Yeah.
We're gonna have fun with this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun.
I always enjoy that.
Yeah, Krampus is pretty cool. And when we designed him, we didn't want him this lumbering, hulking kind of right.
Normal.
I was like, he's got to be lithe. He's got to be tall. He's like 15 feet tall in our book, and he's athletic as shit. And his face is actually based on William Dafoe.
You see that face and that smile, you know who it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's more Krampus coming. Stay tuned. Yeah. Amy has actually come up with a killer story. So, I'm stoked with it.
Yeah, you're having fun with this one.
Yeah.
God. Now, when will we see it, though? That's the question. Next year?
Krampus?
It might be next year.
No.
Wouldn't it?
No. Krampus will be 28.
Really?
Yeah.
That far out?
Yeah, it's on our list. It's the third book.
It could be next. It could be the end of next year.
Maybe. If we can do 3 next year, it'll be next year. So
we do have the movie and stuff. So yeah, it could be.
I mean,
longer.
Can't kill yourself.
Like if the movie pays well, then I'll push people on stuff and we'll move it quicker. But yeah, probably next year sometime. Probably if we time it right, it'll be right around October.
Yeah.
You can do it October or make it a Christmas book.
Right.
Yeah. He won't be a Christmas Krampus though. He's a little bit different.
Okay.
So, we do have some other stories. We do have We're gonna keep. And anybody's a fan of the Anastasia storyline, we're gonna be playing with that some more.
She's coming back.
She's coming back, and there's a wild. So if you've ever looked at those maps, right, where they got like this line's over here and this one's over here and this one crosses over this way and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What we have for Mythos Comics Group in the next 2 years, as far as stories go, they're going to be independent stories that somehow tie to each other. And then in Anastasia, we're introduced to Flint. We're going to have a Flint spinoff. And then some other stuff. And then Frances Everfrost will have her book out at some point. We were working with a different artist. He had his own story. We were going to just publish it and do some of the background stuff. He pulled. It took him 9 months to write his script. We were patient with it. And he's like, hey, I got an ability to maybe go and do interiors for another company. I don't really need this right now. We're like, great. So it's back to those. Every story is written by me at some point, influenced and filtered by her. But we're growing it. And if I had my druthers, we would have 7 books coming next year. I just don't have the manpower
with day jobs and stuff.
Yeah,
that makes it hard.
There's a huge Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I have a storyline that ties our character to another universe, another story universe. And I'm building that out to shoot that, take that shot. And if that goes where I hope it goes, that'll be one of the coolest books that we've done. So,
is it with a publisher that I know?
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, God, I'm so bad. I get excited. I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
She's worse than Tom Holland. Jesus. Anyway,
I shouldn't be allowed to talk.
Anyway, and if I do that, that'll be so just to let you know, Anastasia was actually supposed to be a spinoff. It was supposed to be, we're going to work with Garrett Gunn, and one of the book was going to be Good Boy and one was going to be Ninja Witch. And they were so you're going to read one, and then when you flip the book upside down, it was going to be Ninja Witch. So she was going to have 13 pages, and Good Boy was going to have 13 pages. And the last 2 pages from both of them were going to be the same pages. And we were basically going to put Ninja Witch in the Good Boy universe and Good Boy in the Ninja Witch universe. And then Garrett didn't have the rights to it. Because when he left, I remember. Source Point kept them, and they weren't willing to do it. And I really wanted to work with Garrett, and I'd written the script, and he approved it, and we had some changes to it. But we liked the story so much, we used it for Anastasia, which was going to be it anyway. It just we were going to introduce, instead of Flint, it was going to be the Good Boy, the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
So we just changed it a little bit, but this other one is something that we were doing something, and then Amy's like, "Oh, we should do this." And we already have a commission done by somebody that really blends the two, and we're holding on to it. And there's some other stuff holding on to, and
that's really cool.
I'm building a presentation packet and the full script and everything. And if it goes through, hopefully that individual looks at it and says yes, but we're gonna front the whole financial risk on it. But I don't think it'll be a risk. I think it'll be a mark. But if we do that, I'll tell you what, one of my creative, blocks will be definitely checked off.
Nice. I want to see it happen, dude. I really do.
Amy's stoked on it too. So the story that she came up with a lot of it, and then I had to write it, and then you have to condense it, right? Because it's an intro, so it's not a full book. So how do you do it? So It's kind of, it's like a little bit more than an ash can, but not quite a comic. So it's 12 pages versus the 8 usually for an ash can. And 12 is way short of a comic, right? But it's just enough that it can be a secondary offering and see what people say. So that's something that I'm actively working on right now. And I'll tell you this much: when you disconnect and you're not recording anymore, I'll give you.
Then you'll let Amy spill the
Then I'll let
beans.
Amy keep talking. I'm drinking root beer. I don't know what she's drinking, but she's
I'm dying to drink. I haven't drank anything.
Well, I do want to say thank you for these, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
I put you sent me 2. One's already been put on my coat already.
Yeah,
so I already sewed that in. I will say this is constructive feedback.
Yeah,
make it a little thicker.
So we were restrained on the cost, right? So nobody was paying for them originally. We were paying for the whole thing. So those were almost $3 each by themselves, and we got over 100, almost 200 of them. So,
but ask us, we would have helped you.
I know.
All us vets would have helped you out. And you know that.
Next time.
Yeah.
Bob has a bunch of extras, and we got a handful of extras. So if you need more, let us know. We'll bring some down to Tucson, and I'll give them over to Brian for his booth. So if anybody wants to, yeah, they're pretty cool. I would do them bigger too. You know, I do them just a little bit bigger.
Wider.
Yeah, because you lose some like where the font is. It gets faded out a little bit.
Yeah, because it says Veterans of Sworn Nation, and that gets like really small. But we all know what it means because there's only so many of us that got it, right?
Yeah.
So for that reason, but I do want to say thank you for that.
I think I sent about 80 something of them sent out. And then we had one person cover the cost of the stuff. So it was really nice of that individual. Mm-hmm. They asked not to be named, so we won't.
We won't name, but
yeah,
the rest of us are like, we wanted to help you too. So
no, we appreciate it. Yeah, we do something else, we'll definitely reach out.
Definitely.
I'm never one of those guys, but you know me, I don't want to do something and be like, oh, we want to do this, but we can only do it if you guys do this, and it's hard for me to do that sometimes.
I know you do that, but that's why we think about it in that way, right? Is that we think it's you're helping us, we're helping you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Yeah. Of course, Amy and Justin, always a pleasure to have you on here. We went over a lot tonight. So if you guys didn't watch it all, come back in and watch the rest of it when it goes on just on regular YouTube. As always, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Well, you can find Mythos Comics Group on Facebook under Mythos Comics Group and on Instagram. You can also go to mythoscomicsgroup.com. It's our brand new website, super slick. And the shop is coming in the next couple months. You can also find Nerdery Queen on Instagram and Art of Justin Hunt on Instagram. And I think I have an Art of Justin Hunt Facebook somewhere. I don't run it. So
I saw it one day. I'm like,
there's a fan of Justin Hunt. So it's out there. I don't know. I don't run it. Haley actually runs it. So
yeah.
All right. There's your link.
Yeah, but
all of the links will be on our website as well. So you can get us that way.
But we're super happy. It replaces our old website, which is very clunky, and
it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It does look nice. I like it.
So,
all right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And go to Tucson Comic Con and see Justin and Amy.
There you go.
All right.